Hey, what's going on, Gaijins and Gaijins? This is Good Gaijin Greg, and I am back with another video. And this time, I want to tell you my personal tips for living in Japan. And these aren't even like great tips, just because I've only lived here for like almost 3 years. I don't have any wealth of knowledge. These are just things that I feel could help you if you're thinking or planning to come out here to live. I mean, some of this helps if you're just visiting, but this is mostly for living. And this is my second time making this video. If you ever start making videos, make sure you have enough free space on whatever you're recording it on, or you won't record and you're gonna waste about 30 minutes worth of filming and a bunch of snacks that were gonna be in that video. So now I don't have snacks, it's just me talking. Let's get started. Tip number 1, learn Japanese. I know that sounds like basic advice, but you'd be surprised how many people like me get over here and know zero Japanese. They don't try to learn Japanese. They maybe try for like a week and then they give it up, or they just kind of fall off on it. But learning Japanese is a big part of easing your life in Japan. People will be very, very nice to you and they'll invite you to a lot of stuff. But without being able to communicate with you, it's going to be hard for them to keep that up. I mean, think of it from their side of things. They may like you and they think you're a great person to be around and all that, but communication is very difficult. Especially, it's hard enough for people to get communication right when they can speak the same language, let alone, someone you just met who doesn't speak your language, or they speak it just a little bit. Even for people, like when you get here, you'll eventually find some people that do speak English of varying levels. But even for them, you're going to want to like latch onto them, but keep in mind that it still worked for them too. They have to, depending on their skill level, they're going to have to, translate what you're saying. You might use some words that they don't know, or you might become too comfortable with them speaking English and you start talking really fast and you're using your natural speaking speed and, things like that. And, you're not taking into account that this isn't their first language. They had to learn it. And so they might still be, having to translate. They don't have, English brain, Japanese brain that they can just switch out. They're still translating what you're saying and thinking about what you're saying. And that's just the people that can speak English or whatever language you're speaking. I'm just saying English because. So definitely speak the language, learn the language, speak the language. And the more you can speak their language, the more they'll want to interact with you, and they might, start helping you out and things like that. But if you refuse to learn their language, they're not going to want to interact with you as much or at all, depending on, how difficult you make things for them. So yeah, learn Japanese. Tip number 2, get out of Tokyo, and get out of your house in general, but definitely get out of Tokyo, because you will see plenty of people that visit Japan. They only go to Tokyo. They want to go to Shibuya. They want to, buy a bunch of anime and game stuff. And that's great. It is super fun. I've been to Shibuya. It is super fun when you're not shoulder to shoulder with people and it's crowded and it sucks. But, it's really fun there. Tokyo's great. There's a lot of different places you can go there. But Japan is more than just Tokyo. There are all these different areas. I bet you didn't know that Tokyo has its own Venice. Yeah, they have like a Venice-like area. I mean, not Tokyo. Japan has a Venice-like city. You won't find it in Tokyo. It's not there. And, you know, luckily I did a bit of looking around, and I follow a guy abroad in Japan, and he was talking about Tohoku, and he really made it sound nice. So I decided to try to move out there for my first assignment. And I've loved living out here. Rural, mountains, trees everywhere, lots of nature, gorgeous. And the food here is great too. I mean, the food in Japan is great regardless. But, you know, it was nice to try Iwate's 3 famous noodle dishes of jajamen, wonko soba, and ramen. And I wouldn't have got that if I would have just settled down in Tokyo. You know, Tokyo is great, but it's like New York to America. It's famous and it's big and it's great, but it's not all the country is. It's just one small city. So get out of your house, go different places, go sightseeing, go hiking, go to shrines, go down a few alleys because alleys actually have some of the best food, some of the best restaurants are like down alleys and stuff. So definitely get out there. Don't worry about what time it is. Japan is incredibly safe, no matter who you are or what you're doing. Just get out. Get out and try new things. Tip number 3. Speaking of trying new things, have an open mind. Make sure you try different things here in Japan. You're not going to another country just to live the same way that you lived in your own country. You know, don't come out here saying that you're only going to eat McDonald's and KFC or whatever. You know, try the sushi. Try, you know, the gyutang, the cow tongue. Try some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily try before. Worst case scenario, you find something that you don't necessarily like. Oh no. Best case scenario, you find a new favorite food. You know, try to experience the culture and everything out here. The Japanese are very open and inviting when it comes to their culture. They don't really worry about the whole, oh, it's cultural appropriation if you wear that or if you do that. You know, most people will invite you to try their things. They want you to take part in their festivals and their dances and their food and their, you know, different things like that. They're very proud of their culture and they want to show it off. So take advantage of that. Enjoy it. I've loved going to Obon, to Undokai, to different things out here and getting to, you know, do the dances, try the food, see all the sights and everything. It's been amazing. So definitely try to have an open mind to the culture and you may fall in love with it just like I did. Tip number 4, you're in Japan, not your country. And that's something that I have seen from quite a few people where they come over here and they become offended because, you know, someone said something and it didn't gel with their views politically or their religion or something like that. And you have to remember, this isn't your country. That'd be like someone coming to your house and telling you how to, you know, run your house. And I know you wouldn't like that. So don't come into their country trying to tell them how they should run their country. I mean, unless the country you come from is super perfect and has 0 problems. And another thing is, try not to take the problems that you have in your country and bring them over here. Like, for instance, I am African American, and many of us know the problems that Black people tend to have with racism and things in America. Don't come to Japan thinking everything is racist, because you're in a country that is 98% Japanese, many people haven't even seen a black person in real life. You know, like I live out here in, you know, the mountains where there's 6,000 in a town of 6,000 people, and many of the children, many of, you know, maybe some of the older people have never seen a black person. I'm the first black person that they've talked to. So don't automatically assume that it's racism. Sometimes it's just ignorance, and ignorance isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just is, you know. You're not bad for being ignorant. You're bad for wanting to be ignorant or for staying ignorant. But just not knowing something, there's plenty of stuff everyone doesn't know. So don't condemn an entire country because of, you know, stuff that happens in your country. Tip number 5, pay attention to your surroundings. Yeah. Make sure if you're out and about, make sure you pay attention to signs, pay attention to people, and try to mimic what everybody else is doing. Japan is a very, you know, unified country when it comes to that. Everyone follows the rules. That's why Japan has such a low crime rate and has so many few problems when it comes to like the populace. People tend to police themselves. So try to mimic that. Don't come over here, you know, getting on the train, yelling and fighting and arguing and talking loud on your phone or whatever. You get on the train, you notice everyone is, you know, quiet. No one's talking on their cell phone. You'll see the signs that say, you know, no cell phone use is prohibited. So try to follow along with what everyone else is doing and pay attention. Get out of your, you know, get out of yourself for a bit and pay attention to your surroundings, and you'll notice things that are just completely different. You know, you'll see people not walking and eating. You'll see people not on their phone in public areas. Just different things like that, you know, just like I said, just pay attention to what everybody is doing around you and just stick with the group kind of thing. And you should be able to keep from irritating the locals around here, which is something you want to do. You want to keep, you know, keep everything nice and easy for everybody. Tip number 6. This is how you say 6 in Japan, with your fingers. Tip number 6. Do some research. You know, don't just go off of my video. Do some research. Watch a few YouTube videos, read a few articles, that kind of thing. Maybe talk to some people that have been to Japan. But also keep in mind, you're dealing with one person's thoughts. You know, take the good and the bad information because both are very valuable. But also keep in mind that, you know, that person's situation is tailor-made for them. You know, I can sit here and tell you that Japan is amazing and it's perfect and nothing's wrong with anything and oh my God, but you may come here and have the worst time. So, you know, keep in mind that your situation is going to be your situation and mine's going to be mine. But, you know, kind of take the information, keep it in your back pocket, but at the same time, don't automatically take what someone else said as, you know, the end all be all and be like, oh, well, I'm not going there. One guy said his cousin's uncle's brother's aunt had a racist, you know, situation with some 60-year-old. So all of Japan's just racist because, you know, that can be anywhere. But yeah, take whatever information you can because more information is better than no information. The internet is vast and it'll tell you pretty much everything you need to know. And you can come over here a little bit more prepared and have things that you kind of already know going into it. That way you can, ease yourself in a little bit better. But yeah, make sure you have your own, situations. And like I said before, keep an open mind. Not, just because you have a bad situation or a bad, event this one time, maybe it'll be better next time. You may think about it like food. You may try something one time and it was terrible, but the next time you tried it, you loved it. So those are my 6 tips for living in Japan, visiting Japan. Yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that some of it was at least a little bit helpful. That's about it. So please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Laters.